60. I'm Connor. Paolo is here, and we're just unpacking the fights. Fallout. We got everything for this week. Itauma Whyte, Joshua's return, and Canelo Crawford undercard, as well as some other bits. Let's get straight into it with the. Okay, so boxing this week, 60 episodes. Pretty cool little milestone right there. We are slightly late. Technology, who cares? More importantly, everyone's here. Internet's good. Paolo is officially here. And we've got a lot to talk about this week because boxing is actually back now. The last 2 weeks, if you've watched, have been... they've been okay, to be fair, the episodes, but boxing itself has not been quite where maybe we all want. So we'll first go straight into let's do the weekly roundup. So first of all, we are going to address something quite sad, actually. It's a big sort of story that's going around. It's garnering a lot of positives, but it's ultimately very sad that on the weekend, Shigetoshi Kotari and Hiromasa Yurikawa have both lost their lives on the same card in Japan. So obviously a big thoughts and prayers to their family and friends, and then for them to rest in peace.
Yeah, man. It's a hard one. Boxing's a tough sport. You don't play boxing. God obviously decided it was their time. It's very sad, but this, we're going to get into it, but this amplifies the reasons that some idiotic decisions are being made in boxing. And then you've got to take something like this, considering I think we've had, from what I can count, and there could be more, but if I know of 8 deaths now this year, boxing related in the pro scene. Yeah,
it's been a lot.
And there could be more. There's just 8 that I know of. Do you get it? So there's small hall shows. I know somebody near me on a small hall professional show that died. So boxing, you don't play. Condolences to his family. Both young, good fighters as well. But apart from that, probably good people as well. Do you get it?
Yeah.
So, sad day.
It is. Like I said, there is one somewhat positive to come out of it, if you can even say that, which is that the Japanese Commission have had emergency meetings all of this week in order to discuss how they can make the sport safer, which is always a positive. But unfortunately, the way it's come about, it should be happening anyway. It should be happening all the time. They shouldn't need to be this reactive to people dying.
I'm not knocking the Japanese Commission because it's good they're doing it. My thing is the British Commission and the Commission in America, whenever something bad happens, I don't think these same steps are being taken.
No, not at all.
If they are, they're not publicly made to people, so we're not able to say 100%. They are. But
it's a dangerous sport, but there are measures that can be taken to make it as safe as possible.
And that is why the British Board of Boxing Control should not be allowing Eubank and Ben 2. And this is a prime example of stuff like this, safety. And it's also worrying that we've gone. We're nearing 100 years of boxing. We over now, actually, 100 years of boxing being a completely certified sport with ruling and governing bodies, and yet we've still got a point where there feels a need for emergency meetings because they feel that they've missed something to make it safer. It's a worrying thing. But look, the main takeaway is that we hope those two, the family and friends, are as okay as can be, and that they rest in peace. But what a sad time.
Yeah, really sad. And like you said, there's been far too many this year. Far too many. Right. Moving on to things that don't matter quite as much, but we are a boxing show, so we will talk about it. Jaron Ennis is fighting Lima in his next fight, his first one at 154 pounds. For the WBA, eliminator for the WBA world title at junior middle-weight.
Well,
good fight.
The fight was offered to Josh Kelly as well, wasn't it? But he turned it down because there weren't enough money involved.
Yeah, I've got to be honest with Josh Kelly. he's not as big a name as he thinks.
No. But I think what Eddie Hearn said was, it's fair. It's understandable. I watched the interview he done, and he said it's understandable why he turned it down, because he fought Ishmael Davis on a last-minute step-in when he was meant to be fighting somebody else. I can't remember who he was meant to be fighting. Who was he meant to be fighting?
Liam Smith, I thought.
Nah, it was Smith, wasn't it? Anyway, big Saudi fight. He got paid lifetime changing amounts of money. I was from what Eddie Hearn has said for fighting Ishmael Davis. So naturally, going in against Dennis, he's going to expect the same amount. The problem is, as Eddie Hearn said, it's not a Riyadh season card.
Yeah,
and that is why he didn't get offered the money he got offered.
Yeah, I'm not ever going to say to a fighter you should just take less money, but also, what are your aspirations in the sport? You know, if you, my view on it might be very different, but I think if you've made the life-changing money, that's when you can start going.
I don't think Josh Kelly has though. Oh, consistently.
Yeah, no, I'm saying when you've got to a point where Josh Kelly's only going to get offered big fights now, or fights that will pay well. The Jaron Ennis fight might not pay as much as the Riyadh season, but it's going to pay well. And that's a fight that I can't see Josh Kelly winning it, but if he did, it catapults him.
Yeah, go on.
It catapults him. But for Jaron Ennis, this is a great fight. It's a very winnable fight. I mean, I expect him to clean the division out.
Yeah,
personally.
Eddie Hearn's fulfilling his promise to Jared Ennis of just giving him more fights.
Yeah.
So Eddie Hearn is doing that, and he will get a big fight. But I think at the moment, because of where boxing is, and who's available and who's not available, I think the big fight to make would be him and Conor Benn. In terms of money. But I also watched Ariel Helwani's fight corner with Conor Benn and Shakur Stevenson.
Yeah.
They were on it together. And supposedly after the Eubank fight, that is the next fight. Shakur will move up 2 weights to fight Conor Benn. Verbally, he said he'll do it. And he'll make that obviously his next fight. It was meant to be in November, but they've just announced Eubank and Benn in November. So I think if we see that, it'll be afterwards. Which, to be fair, in London, Shakur Stevenson and Conor Benn would be a bigger fight than Jared Ennis and Conor Benn.
Yeah, it's not a better fight though, I don't think. Bigger fight, maybe. Yeah. I think Ennis versus Virgil Ortiz is the fight I'd like to see. Virgil Ortiz Jr. But the main point is that Ennis is at 154 and he's staying active, and he's a very active fighter anyway. He's got 33 fights, 33 wins on his record, as is. But he's we see it a lot where fighters get to the point where they actually become a world champion and then they slow down, they take less fights, and it's understandable. But he's not done that, which is quite nice. Mm-hmm. I'm very excited to see him at 154. I don't see a reason why he won't clean the division. I don't think there's anybody other than Virgil Ortiz Jr. who's particularly special in that division. No. Or more special than Jaron Ennis. We have another week, another ranking that you're not going to like. The WBC have ranked Manny Pacquiao as number 1 at welterweight. There we go. Yeah.
Can I throw anything else at my thing? Fuck it.
I don't know. Whatever you've got, man.
No, I'm not going to do this. This laptop costs a lot. But what the fuck? Fuck it. Rank me in the cruiserweights now. Rank me. Fuck it.
So obviously it comes after Pacquiao drew with Barrios. So I understand it from that point.
I'm going to say it again. Use the analogy. Who's Dixie sucking?
Well, Maurizio, I'd imagine. This is a weird one, right? Because Pacquiao shouldn't even be... Pacquiao shouldn't even be in the top 15 or top 40 beforehand, right? But he did just draw with the world champ.
Pacquiao, shall I tell you where Pacquiao needs to be? Was a great fighter. Definitely showed that he was 46 in his fight, regardless of how he performed.
Yeah.
Arias, for me, one of the weaker champions in that division.
Yeah.
But he should be negotiating treaties with presidents and prime ministers around the world as a leader in Philippines, not fighting for Mauricio on the WBC.
I agree. I understand why they've ranked him after the fight. I just don't. It's just the fact that it shouldn't have happened anyway. That's really my point. Yeah. And then the final sort of key news for the roundup is Daniel Dubois has split from his team and has now joined Sam Jones for management, which I assume is to sort of get his career back on track. Obviously, there was the whole Usyk party stuff.
From Don, then.
Pardon?
Has he split from his... No, he's still got his manager, Riz Khan, because Riz Khan manages Dubois as well.
Yeah, he's just split from... I can't remember the name.
Don King?
No. Whoever it is, but he's joined Sam Jones is the main point. So Sam Jones is going to guide his career alongside Frank Warren.
By the way, he hasn't sacked his other manager.
I think he has, or they parted ways.
I watched an interview with Sam Jones, and Sam Jones says he's working alongside Riz Khan to manage the ball.
I don't think Riz Khan is the one that's...
Riz Khan manages the ball.
We're going to get to the bottom of this right now.
It's very rare.
Daniel Dubois.
I said it's very rare Connor's wrong, but I think you are here.
Maybe. It's Farrell. What's his name? Christ. Oh, Kieran Farrell?
See, I thought it was Riz Khan that managed him. But Riz Khan does something to do with him anyway, manages something in his business. But I know he's working with Riz Khan anyway, but he might have sacked the other manager. I think he had multiple managers, to be honest. His dad manages his career, really, let's be honest.
Yeah, I mean...
I think, personally, that's the manager you need to sack, with all due respect. But
Agreed. Shouldn't have dads in the corner unless they know boxing. So Kieran Farrell, is the one who's sort of managed his career over the last 18 months. They've parted ways.
There's two sides to it, though, with his dad. Like, obviously, his dad would be the best person to understand and know Dubois. But naturally, I think as you get older, like I think for Dubois, if you're having a positive impact on your fighter or your son, I think the best comparison is the Tio Lifima Lopez and his dad being his coach. Bit different, but it's worked for Tio. So there's no reason for him to change it. His dad talks a lot of shit, but his dad is a very good boxing coach.
I
think his dad's probably made the wrong decisions for Dubois. I think the biggest mistake he made, and I know people will use the comparison, that he had a party after Joshua. So, and to be fair, if Dubois would have won against Usyk, no one would have batted an eyelid about him having a party. But because he lost, it will get amplified. Unfortunately, you're in the public eye and people are going to look at it. You can't be too annoyed at people for bringing it up.
Yeah.
My thing is, the mistake that they made was assuming, and although Joshua in his own right is a good fighter, he's a good fighter, 2-time heavyweight champion, Usyk's just different.
Yeah, I mean, you're spot on. You can't do stupid stuff with Usyk. You can't take... Joshua is different. I think it's still stupid to do that against AJ, but the difference is AJ will get hit.
Mm-hmm.
That's the key. Usyk doesn't really. Look, we could talk about that, the partying and everything for a long time. The point is, he's with a good coach. He's with a good manager. Don Charles still is his coach, and hopefully, Sam Jones doesn't really take shit. So hopefully, they'll address something. Sam Jones is he's a winner. He doesn't like losing, Sam Jones. So I imagine he'll do his best to sort Dubois out. It'll be interesting. Obviously, still with Queensbury, so he's still going to get big fights, and his comeback will be likely just as strong as it was before. I think Dubois, in a really positive way for any athlete, is a bit like a goldfish. I think he's quite good at forgetting and moving on. yeah, I think that's kind of all of the smaller bits of news. So we're going to jump straight into the big thing. Moses Itauma versus Dillian Whyte. The prospect who is looking to become, well, he's looking to break Mike Tyson's record, I think, after this fight, versus Dillian Whyte, who some are calling him the baby snatcher.
It's mental. So first, I need to clear something up with this. So if I'm Dillian Whyte, first of all, I'd be suing DAZN for defamation of character because he'll win that case, hands down. Yeah, Dillian Whyte follows me on Instagram. I don't know why, but he follows me on Instagram. So
that's cool.
If you see this, Dillian, sue them. I'm going to tag him in it. You probably will see it.
The only thing is, you should probably just put, if you do sue them, you're probably never going to fight on DAZN again.
Sue them. Dillian Whyte is his own man. He's his own man.
I agree with that. But I think you make more money not suing them. But that's...
get paid, sue them afterwards. And then get paid off Itauma and sue them afterwards, is what I said.
Yeah, but then you're never fighting on a broadcast again.
I don't. He will fight on a broadcast again, but I don't think. Like personally,
not DAZN.
I don't think Dillian Whyte needs boxing. But
I mean, across his career, you'd hope he's set.
Me personally, though, he loves fighting, innit? So I wouldn't be surprised if he revisits the MMA. Can I be honest with you? Some dream matchups. He could get some big fights in PFL. So the money's there to be made for him. There's no doubt about that. But we're talking. The thing I don't like about this narrative is we're talking like Whyte's done. He looks in good shape, and he's an experienced fighter. If he takes this to the later rounds, forget even later rounds. If he makes this a dogfight, Dillian Whyte knows what to do. I think it's a bit disrespectful everyone's writing him off. Because in the same breath, as good as Itauma is, Itauma's not tested against somebody at this level. So it's impossible to say it's impossible to or definitively say Itauma's going to win.
Agreed.
Till we see the fight. And whilst I think Itauma's a great talent at 20, this is a hard fight for him. So if the Dillian Whyte turns up that I think is going to turn up, which mentally he looks like he's there, not taking no bullshit from media. I love Dillian Whyte. I think he's hilarious.
He's brilliant, yeah.
But I also have always said, and you can go back and look on the archives, he's one of my favorite heavyweights because he has never ducked a challenge.
Yeah.
I think Deontay Wilder avoided him, and rightly so, because I think he would have folded a Deontay Wilder like a deck chair. Seriously, I'm going to use that one from Gunman.
That's a tough.
Deontay Wilder.
I think Wilder lands. I know where you're coming from. I think Dillian Whyte's more than good enough to beat him quite easily. But
Deontay Wilder has not fought the same level of opponents consistently as Dillian Whyte has over the years.
Yeah, definitely. Dillian Whyte's resume is far superior and very underrated. It's far superior.
He's lost against Joshua. He's lost against Fury,
and he's lost against Povetkin.
And he avenged that loss against Povetkin.
And he was also winning that fight. That was a bit of a freak.
So his two losses come from former heavyweight champions of the world, and then Povetkin was a good boxer. That punch was mad. I think if anyone saw it, it's a clean peach shot he hit Whyte with, and Whyte was winning that fight up until that point, and then he went and defeated him again. Listen, for me, this is good for me because I like Itauma. He's got the right people around him. He's doing the right things. He looks good. But this is the kind of test that he needs. But doing this, you're skipping levels. And long term, I don't know if that's such a good idea, even when you get to the very top. So, for me, it's gonna be a good fight. And if he beats Dillian Whyte convincingly, then he's just proved a massive point to the heavyweight division. He's past British, past European. For me, he got you beat Dillian Whyte, you catapult yourself to world level fights.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to make a prediction of what's going to happen. I think we'll get to Saturday. I think he'll beat Dillian Whyte. Just on the fact he's confident. I just think Moses Itauma right now has that. It's the same thing AJ had. It's the thing that kept Wilder going for so long. It's just that I literally can't lose.
Wilder like that.
No. Look, what you can, I'll agree with you all day long that Wilder's resume, Wilder's, pretty much everything about Wilder is pretty
trash,
below average, very below. But he had punching power like a horse kicks, and he had confidence like no heavyweight in the world. That's what is now shot to bits. That's why Wilder doesn't do what he used to be able to do. He just doesn't believe in himself as much. Moses has that belief that he can knock anyone out and he just can beat anyone.
No,
Anthony Joshua had that. He had this, and Anthony Joshua had it to the extent where the whole of Britain believed it as well, where it was like he is just invincible. That's what Moses has got right now.
There's two sides.
Moses will beat Dillian Whyte, and then I guarantee Turkey Al-Sheikh tweets Moses versus Usyk,
and he'll lose that fight.
I'm not saying he'll win that fight, but that's the next fight.
At this stage of Moses' career, if Turkey Al-Sheikh puts him in with Moses Itauma, you're ruining a young fighter. Like, in my opinion, when it comes, let's be honest, Dubois had power. How did that work out for you, him against Usyk?
Yeah, but that's
Joshua had power. How did that work out for him against Usyk? He's not an easy puzzle to solve. And whilst I'm saying Itauma is probably a lot quicker than Dubois, a lot quicker than Joshua, we've got to look at it like this. This fight's probably going to catapult him to world level if he wins. However, is that the right decision? No.
I'm not saying it's the right decision, but
I get what you're saying. That's what Turkey's going to say. But what you're telling me is, or not what you, but what we're hearing is, you're going to skip Joseph Parker. You're going to skip these top guys to fight. Fury's back now. Tyson Fury. He's back. No, he's back. He's back.
Well, he is, but he's not got a fight.
But let's
he doesn't want to fight anyone but Usyk.
So Itauma can't beat Dillian Whyte and skip Anthony Joshua. He can't skip Parker. Anthony Joshua still got aspirations of winning a world title. Whether he does or doesn't is not the point. He wants to win a world title, so he's still in that conversation. Itauma's got to beat these guys to get to Usyk. You don't get to. Do you know what I mean? I don't know how to. What analogy can I use for this? You don't get a jawbreaker and get to the center of the chewing gum without eating the rest of it first. I was going to say something else, but it sounded mad. I was going to say sucking it first, a jawbreaker. Right. You've got to shut the jawbreaker to get to the center of the chewing gum. Itauma can't bite through because the teeth are going to fall out. I just don't think it's a good idea. And first of all, he's still got to get past this mad. Yeah, and we could go and talk about in a minute how the zone fucked up because that needs to be brought up. But I honestly think, not you or me, because I think we both know how good Dillian Whyte is at his best. But I think the media are writing Dillian Whyte off.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's fair. But I like the way that Dillian Whyte's handled the media because he's just not on any bullshit with any of them, to be honest.
He never really. Dillian Whyte is I'm a big fan of Dillian Whyte. I think he's brilliant. He's very underrated as well, just because his style doesn't look the cleanest, but he hits like you wouldn't want to get hit by him. The only reason that I'm saying it about Usyk is because him and Joseph Parker were meant to have had their negotiations, and they were meant to have started. They're actually meant to have finished negotiating for their fight yesterday, on the 13th of August. It's now the 14th of August. They've not even begun negotiations.
Joseph Parker wants to fight. I don't know. And I think Usyk wants to fight. But I think higher powers are getting involved with this.
I don't think Turkey wants to fight.
But Turkey doesn't. Listen, like we said this before. Sometimes it doesn't matter what fucking Turkey wants. But if it does matter what he wants the whole time, as much as he's revived boxing, he's going to fucking ruin it.
He's got the money. He's the one putting the money down.
But this whole thing about, because what you're going to do is essentially you're going to have the public are now on his side. He's won the public over.
Yeah.
The people that essentially pay for these subscriptions to allow the Saudis to put on the fights. And I'm not saying if he makes the fights he wants to make, people won't watch them, but he will lose public favoritism maybe. And long term, that don't work well for you. You to be, you know what I mean? It just doesn't work out well. And I just think you can't have favourites in the position that he does, but clearly he does. And as much as you've brought boxing back, you're tarnishing all the work you're doing by making stupid decisions. Just my opinion, but nothing but love to Turkey, though.
The thing is, I do, for the most part, I do agree. But when I'm thinking, the thing is, Moses can't break Mike Tyson's record. He's about a month too old. Maybe even actually, Moses is what, December 8th or something birthday. Tyson was April when he did it. So Tyson was 20 in 4 months. Moses is now 20 and 9. So, right, Moses can't break the record. But I think the selling power of a 21-year-old fighting for the world title at heavyweight, and it's a British 21-year-old, overpowers Joseph Parker. I agree with you completely. That shouldn't be the case. That is, sending Moses Itauma into what could, we see what loss does to some fighters. That could be career suicide. I don't think it would be, but it could be. Dillian Whyte, look, do you know what? Let's just talk about Saturday, because the what ifs are what ifs. I think that's what's going to happen. This Saturday, however, we're going to find out where Moses Itauma is. Because Dillian Whyte, for all that people and mainly media are telling you that he's on some not great streak of fights, that's just not true. He beat Christian Hammer in Ireland in a very easy win, but still Christian Hammer's not a terrible heavyweight.
And
then he beat Ebenezer
by the way, Christian Hammer, if I'm not mistaken, gave up.
That was Tete. Oh no, that was Hammer. That was both of them actually. That's why. So that the fights haven't been very entertaining. Hammer didn't get off his stool. Tete got ruled out by the ref on his corner as well, on his stool. But Dillian Whyte won every single round of those fights, and he stopped two heavyweights that are relatively hard to stop, and he did it. Don't underestimate what Dillian Whyte's going to bring. The worry is that Dillian Whyte does have somewhat of an off button in that uppercut, and if we see him do what he was doing against Jermaine Franklin, where he's trying the sort of almost George Foreman guard of having his arms crossed, Moses will move him around the ring easily. Moses is going to create angles that he won't have seen before. Povetkin got in a one-in-a-lifetime shot against Dillian Whyte in a fight that Povetkin was getting just battered in every aspect. Yeah, and then transpire. Tyson Fury was fainting, and obviously there was a little push, but either way he landed the shot. AJ, again, a little bit like Povetkin, but it was more 50-50 fight. A little bit more lean towards AJ, but AJ found that shot. I think Moses is going to create an angle that Dillian Whyte just won't see.
Yeah.
But we're going to find out how hard Moses hits. I struggle to see how Moses loses, because I think people are really overlooking his win against Dempsey McKean.
No, not at all. What he done against him was serious, but Dempsey McKean's not Dillian Whyte. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Agreed, but Dempsey McKean is not a, Dempsey McKean is not a washed-up fighter.
He's never been Dillian Whyte. I hear what you're saying, and I'm not saying Moses won't win, but my thing is, I am just looking at this from the outside perspective of not trying to sound biased, but looking at it from the point of, I think, and I don't think Itauma is in any slightest, by the way. I think he's locked in. But I think the outside noise probably writing Dillian Whyte off people could be wrong, or Itauma could win. But the other thing is as well, if Itauma beats Dillian Whyte, catapults to heavyweight, fights Usyk in a crazy world, loses against Usyk, what's that done for his career at 20? Because now you're in a position
put him on a global scale.
Okay, put him on he's on a big scale now, in my opinion. But
I know, but
if he loses against Usyk, how much of that does he actually see? Because boxing can be very fickle, and people do forget.
But right now, Usyk's that is the fight you get paid for, because he's got all the belts.
100%, but you don't deserve to fight for all the belts at this point.
True. Okay, what happens if Moses gets in there and makes Dillian Whyte look like Balogun, look like McKean, and he does him in 2 or 3 rounds?
Then he moves up and he fights people.
But how far does he move up? Because
he's already moved past British by fighting Dillian Whyte.
I think Dillian Whyte is just under world level fight.
Now, at the moment, based off, I'd say his last couple of fights, I can understand why people would say that. But Dillian Whyte has only lost 3 times in his career against 2 world heavyweight champions and Povetkin. So I think it puts him at world level, but I just don't think it puts him in a Usyk fight yet. I don't think he's ready for it. Like the thing is, it's also not just about winning a world heavyweight title. It's about dominating the division. My cousin made a really good point to me the other day. In this country, British fighters don't really have a mad amateur career. They don't, compared to the Eastern European fighters. So Lomachenko's had over 350 amateur fights, or even more than that. Usyk has had a load of amateur fights. I think 100. Roughly.
Usyk's 396 with 15 losses.
396. How far am I off? Yeah, so 396. These guys dominate boxing for years because of their experience. So when they go into the pro rankings, although to the outside world, Usyk's had 24 fights, he's had over 400 if you want to count his amateur fights. So these guys are really experienced, and I think that's why Dubois lost, because he didn't have the experience to beat Usyk. He didn't have the experience to unpuzzle him. Moses technically is a better boxer than Dubois, in my opinion, from what I've seen. But then it's really hard to say how good he is, because we haven't seen him fight at the same level as Dubois. So in hindsight, I'm being a bit hypocritical in saying that, and I could be wrong there if I think about it. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said to you, we need to see Itauma. I liked what I said so far. I do think he'll become a world heavyweight champion, by the way. Yeah. I just don't think yet. I don't think it's going to happen yet. He is only 20 years old. You're talking about a guy who normally top fighters go into fighting until they're 37, 38. If you're used
that's what Usyk's doing now. It does seem to be they're getting older and they keep going. So yeah.
But don't forget, like another good fight for him after this would be a Bakoli or Zhilei Zhang.
Yeah, I think the winner of this fight puts themselves in with probably anyone other than Parker. Parker's probably not fight. I guess Joseph Parker doesn't want to fight anyone except the winner of the winner of Usyk Dubois. So Usyk. Let's talk about the undercard. I'll read out the fights, and I think there's one fight I'm most excited for. So you got Hrgović, David Adelaide, which I'm extremely excited to see, almost as much as the main event. Nick Bull versus Sam Goodman, and Ray Ford versus Abraham Nova, along with the return of Japanese prospect Hayato Tatsumi.
This card might be better than this undercard. It's definitely better than Canelo and Crawford.
Yeah, we're going to talk about Canelo and Crawford's undercard.
I know.
I think we can talk about it for about 2 seconds and just say one word: shit. But we'll build on it a little.
But this undercard, very good.
Yes, Hrgović Adelaide is an amazing fight.
Adelaide, if he beats Hrgović, the position he puts himself in.
Yeah, I mean,
we even forget, and that's another fighter Itauma could be looking at is Adelaide.
That'd be a great fight.
And they've had a bit of needle this week as well.
They have, and I mean, with Adelaide's power, you don't rule him out of any fight. I think Adelaide's going to take that. I genuinely think David Adelaide might beat. I think he'll beat Hrgović, but I think he'll knock him out real bad. Hrgović has got a chin of granite, but we'll see. We're going to find out just how good David Adelaide is. We're also going to find out how good Hrgović is, because I think Hrgović should win this on paper. I think his experience, his just the fights he's been in, and the caliber of fights, he's far superior to David Adelaide. But David Adelaide hits I'm not sure there's a heavyweight that hits harder than David Adelaide. I mean, dead serious. The way he knocks people out is devastating. Maybe Fabio Wardley hits harder, actually. I did forget about Wardley. But, I mean, Adelaide put himself up for the Wardley rematch. That could be the fight. And then what if that'd be a great fight as well? Really intrigued by that. I think it'll go early. Hrgović likes a fight, and Adelaide doesn't do much other than fight. So, can't see that going the full 10 rounds. The rest of the card, Nick Bull, Sam Goodman is a great fight. And I am excited for it. In the way of Sam Goodman was obviously scheduled to fight Noah Inoue about a year and a half ago, had to pull out through injury. And it never happened. Goodman is not a big puncher, but what he is a very technical fighter. Gives Nick Bull something very different to what he's been facing recently in Ray Ford and Vargas and Isaac Dogbo. So it's a different kind of challenge. As a British fan, we need Nick Bull to win, because we spoke about this a little bit last week, but he is our only world champion, male world champion, and we haven't really got much hope of. There's nobody else scheduled right now, so Nick Bull's kind of carrying the reins. I'm hoping the pressure of that won't do too much, but I'm intrigued by that fight. I don't think it's going to be. In all honesty, I expect it to be quite. I kind of think it will go 12 rounds. I don't think Nick Bull's going to land that much on Goodman, but I don't think Goodman's going to be able to do much against Nick Bull. So I think Nick Bull will win unanimous decision on that.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Ray Ford, Abraham Nova, not the fight it was meant to be, but Ray Ford's always great to watch, so that's good. I love this card. Honestly, all 4 of those fights are intriguing. Raymond Ford was meant to be better. It was meant to be Kakachi, and that would have been a brilliant fight.
Yeah, what's happened with Kakachi?
He hurt his back, so he had doctor's orders not to fight, but I don't know. There's some suggestion that it's because he's waiting for Sugar Nunes now. Nunes obviously has a fight lined up with Matchroom, not on a Riyadh card. I don't think it's that. I can't imagine Kakachi the Apache ducking anybody, in fairness. Especially
fair,
at his age. This isn't the age for him to
be
be
fair
ducking.
though, the age that he's at, business decisions make more sense. And if that is going to get him more money, then I can't knock him for it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know, but he did sign for the fight. Who knows? Who knows? But look, the key point. Let's go through a little. Let's do predictions. We haven't done proper predictions in a while. Itauma, Whyte. Which way are you going? I know which way you're going. I can see it. You're going to go against. You're going to go Dillian Whyte.
It's hard, man. You gotta ask for a prediction for this. Do you know what? Yeah, I'm not a sheep, so I'm not calling you a sheep either because you've got an opinion. But I know the masses in media are all sucking up to Itauma, and I hear it, but I think Dillian Whyte needs some support, man. And do you know what? He doesn't need any support. He doesn't even care if I want him to win or not. Let's be honest. But I just think people are writing him off way too much.
I agree with that.
And I think we're going to see. I think we will see a locked-in Dillian Whyte, and I'm going to go for Dillian Whyte. I'm going to go for Dillian Whyte.
How? Knockout?
He ain't going to win on points, so it has to be a knockout.
Okay.
But
I'm going with Moses.
He's saying this because Itauma's Itauma, man.
Yeah.
It's a really hard fight for me to call because
I think it's 50-50 as it gets, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to sit on the fence, actually. I'm sitting on the fence, Connor, and I'm not getting off of it. Humpty Dumpty is not falling off this wall.
No, that's boring. Itauma. I'm going Itauma. I'm going to go by knockout. But I would not be surprised if Dillian Whyte did do it, if this was a step too much. I just don't.
Two questions that we're asking Itauma. Really simple for people, obviously, that are locking in and tuning in. Is this fight too early for Itauma in his development?
Yeah.
Because he is on course to do great things, and I'm not disputing that.
Yeah.
Could this be too early? But one question for Dillian Whyte as well, and it's just like, he hasn't fought someone like this for a while. How's he going to deal with it? So those are my two questions. And that's why I'm on the fence. Thank you.
I'm not completely dead set on Itauma. I just, out of the two of them,
he's going to be Bookie's favourite. Itauma's going to be Bookie's favourite.
Of course.
But I just think we're talking to Dillian Whyte like he's over the hill, like he's 50. Not we.
Oh yeah.
People are talking about Dillian Whyte like Mike Tyson's getting in the ring again, when Dillian Whyte would bend most people in half now.
Yeah, and he's active as well. He's an active heavyweight.
So, yeah, man. Like, I just want to see a good fight. May the best man win.
Yeah. And we'll do a prediction for Hrgović Adelaide, because I think the other two fights aren't as close. Well, I don't expect them to be. I'm going Adelaide. I think Adelaide's going to do the job.
I think Adelaide's going to do the job. I think he's not going to allow Hrgović to turn this into a boxing match. No. And he's going to turn this. Adelaide won't. If Adelaide wins, for me, it won't be on points. It'll be on knockout.
No chance. Hrgović is the better boxer.
Points, Hrgović could nick it.
Yeah. Adelaide, I think round 5 will land a knockout of the night. And look, Nick Ball, Sam Goodman's a great fight. I don't see Goodman being good enough, ironically. Right. Let's move to an undercard that we could probably go without talking about. Really don't want to talk about this too much. I'm happy Christian and Billy's on it.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about it for a while. However, the fight he's in is not it's not amazing. Lester Martinez is a good fighter. But it's not Canelo Crawford. We're talking about a fight that should be as big as any Mayweather fight, as any This is the AJ Fury. This is the probably not Mayweather-McGregor level, but this is the kind of thing we're talking about. So the undercard should be better. Callum Walsh, I'm not a fan of having on there. I know he's on there because he's Dana White's fighter, but yeah. And then Mohamed Alakal is the only other one that's been announced. And that's more for Turkey. It is in Saudi. So I get that one. That's for the home crowd. Fine.
I don't get it.
But
shit
Callum Walsh versus Fernando Vargas
shit undercard is what I've got to say. But all I care about is this main event.
Yeah.
And I've got Terence Crawford winning. Terence Crawford will beat Canelo.
Maybe. I think he's got the right style. It's whether or not he can have that style at 168.
Have you seen him wrestling about with Jarrell Miller?
Yeah, he's an animal. The guy is an absolute beast.
Canelo,
but it's just
Crawford's not small, you know.
No, I think he's bigger than Canelo.
Yeah.
But Canelo is 168 natural. That's Canelo moves at 168. To beat Canelo, you come in and you exit, and that's what you have to do. That's what Mayweather mastered, and that's what Bivol is the master of. It's coming in, exchanging, and exiting at the right time. At 147, Terence Crawford, look what he did to Spence. That is the perfect performance, and that is the blueprint to beat Canelo as well. But at 168, you're adding 21 pounds. He couldn't get out those exchanges as quickly against Madrimov. I am waiting till I see them on the scales before I make any prediction. Right now, I'm leaning towards Crawford, but I'm kind of like you. I'm seeing that he's looked massive and looked fine. Yeah. We're not even going to bother talking about this too much because the full undercard's not completely announced, but it's a bit disappointing. In other news, kind of more British news,
Yoka.
Joshua versus Tony Yoka in Ghana is the potential. Love the idea of fights going back to Africa. I find it a little odd that it would be in Ghana, although I know that they've got the Accra Stadium or Accra. I think it's Accra. So they've got an actual place to hold it. I thought it'd probably be in Nigeria for AJ, but in fairness, I don't know Tony Yoka's family history roots, so maybe he is Ghanaian. I have no idea. But point is, I gotta be honest, this fight sucks, but it's much better than Jake Paul. And after how we started this episode, where we were saying rest in peace to two fighters who have sadly lost their lives in legitimate fights, hate him or love him, Jake Paul should not be in there with a real heavyweight like AJ.
No.
And that's where we will see something sad. So at least this is a legitimate fight. I just don't. I'm here for it, to be honest. I'm here for it.
I am nowhere near Jake Paul and Joshua.
No.
I couldn't be further away from Jake Paul and Joshua, and I think I'm gonna be back.
Yeah, that was weird. Are we still? Hopefully, we're still live. If we're not, then that's brilliant. We are. Okay. Apologies, people. Not sure what the hell's happened there. Right.
As I was saying, Joshua and Jake Paul. If there was glass on the floor, followed by a pathway of needles, I'd rather walk that than watch Joshua and Jake Paul. To be honest with you, Jake Paul is and forever will always be a YouTube boxer who came from Disney.
Yep.
And that is the way the cookie crumbles. However, Joshua is going to fold Yoka in half.
Yeah.
But he needs a comeback fight after his injury because he had an operation on his, I think it was his hand or shoulder.
Yeah, his right hand.
So he needs a comeback fight. But these fights push you up in the rankings. So he's smart as well. Look, I do think Joshua will win convincingly, but the bigger message that this sends out is this fight is happening in Ghana. And I think it's very prevalent to notice what they're doing over there with boxing, by the way, because Ahara Davis fought over there not long ago. Amir Khan's promotion has put on shows in Ghana, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So there's big things happening over there. And, you know, we're talking how many years since we've seen a top heavyweight go to Africa and fight? Muhammad Ali times?
I mean, obviously, yeah, I think 1974 Rumble in the Jungle is...
I think this opens the door to massive things, by the way. I love big fights in Africa.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
I think it also gives access to boxing over there to people that necessarily to go and watch the fights physically rather than on the TV.
Yeah.
Gives more access to another continent, which don't put massive fights on because they're never given the opportunity to. So I think these cards and seeing this is going to be a big thing. You know, we're talking after Joshua v Yoka. Why can't we see a Coley v Joshua again in Africa?
Yeah.
Either Nigeria, Ghana, or where's Bakoli from?
Congo.
I think Joshua City's open to fight in there.
Well, Congo is where Ali fought. Obviously, it's slightly different now due to political changes and wars and various things. But
do you know what these fights do for people as well in those areas? Like, you know,
mate, the tour is everything. There's no negative to having fight.
Everyone money.
Yeah,
like, everyone, and I'm not saying that because this fight's in Ghana. Ghana's a very beautiful country, by the way. Like a lot of my friends go there, live, have family there, etc. Same with Nigeria. One of my closest friends goes there because he visits his family. Beautiful places, but the sport will bring and open them places up in the world to everyone else.
Yeah.
These big fights now, you've got all the big celebrities going over there to watch, as they have done for Saudi and these places. So I'm all over this. I love this.
That'd be brilliant.
They're actually one of the biggest consumers. If you talk about them, and as a continent, naturally, it's a big continent. You know what I mean? The first continent when people want to talk about it. Yeah, it's where everyone's from.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's get into it. But
we're talking a billion people. That Anthony Joshua in Africa would be one of the biggest things in one of the biggest sporting events of the decade. That is the level because of
the only other sporting event that I would say is bigger in that continent is AFCON.
Yeah. But this thing, AFCON's regular, which is great, and AFCON is slowly getting more television or televised broadcasting over in the more Western world, which is good because it's brilliant football, and it gets shat on by media so often, which is just.
I love AFCON. I love it.
Yeah, AFCON's brilliant, but this would be hopefully not a one-off, but it would be the first huge event for so long. It's been 51 years since Muhammad Ali and George Foreman were there, so we're due something. Anyway, look, this would be a great return fight. I can't see it going well for Yoka, but it is worth knowing Yoka's last 3 fights, he has won all 3. And his last one, he actually knocked out a fighter whose name I can't remember, but who was 16-0. So Yoka is slowly back on the winning streak. So it's actually not, it's not maybe as bad a fight as it looks on paper, but I'd expect Joshua to win this fairly comfortably. And then the absolute final topic of the week, because we sort of mentioned it last week, boxer with the BBC. Which you might have actually seen flash up earlier, but that's because I forgot to upload it.
1 year broadcast still, though.
1 year and no BBC One.
So what's it? It's on iPlayer.
So it's on BBC Two and BBC Three channels, which is still massive, but only a 1 year deal. I kind of think this is an interesting one.
I don't know if this does any good for the boxer, because at the moment you can only give your fighters a 1-year route for fights. Yeah. How many shows are you planning to put on in a year?
The boxer do about 6, maybe 7. I mean, Riyadh season has meant everyone's reduced the amount of shows they're doing. It's a really tough one, this, because, and I don't know the situation. I'm not going to, I don't want to be rude, but for me, this feels desperate.
No, not
a 1-year deal. Look, if it was a 1-year deal on BBC One and there was no Riyadh season, so we knew that Boxer were going to put on 10 events, I'd understand it. If it doesn't even feel to me like this is a testing period. Like the BBC are going to kind of go, we'll see what you're about to do. Oh, we like this. We'll keep it going. This to me feels like Boxer have got themselves on a really good platform, whilst they don't want to. They need leverage to negotiate with DAZN. DAZN is where boxing's going. And unless some other multi-billionaire comes in and makes a broadcasting channel, DAZN will be where everyone goes. Because they've got everyone behind them. And they're going to have all the other guys behind them as well. So at the moment, DAZN are probably able to offer Boxer. There's no doubt Boxer will have looked at DAZN as an option for broadcasting. And I imagine if DAZN are sensible, they would have gone, well, you don't have Sky anymore. You've got Peacock in America, but I can't imagine they're bringing in too much money. You need us, so we're going to kind of stiff you with the contract we're going to offer.
Of course.
Play.
Play.
BBC.
What a gone. Yeah.
Whereas if they're with the BBC for a year, they've at least got some leverage to get themselves a better contract with DAZN. I don't know fully, and that is just speculation from me. I've not even read that anywhere, but that's what I suspect.
I will speculate one thing from research that I've done.
Right.
BBC, I believe, have one of the bigger budgets in comparison to other broadcasters who are looking at putting boxing on that necessarily don't have it. Take what you want from that. But basically, there's a budget there for boxing on BBC. And it's very clear to see what they mean. Maybe they're testing this with Ben Shalom. Maybe the year broadcast deal is a trial period, if you want to call it. It's been a while since they've put maybe boxing like this on BBC.
Yeah.
For a long time. Long time, if they ever did. So, I think it's good, but I don't know how well this does for the fighters, especially the big stars, because essentially you're only really able to map out a year progress in your career. Then after that, what's next? And I like Ben Shalom,
So
I think it's refreshing to see somebody, bearing in mind he's a year older than me. And what he's achieving now, I think you can't knock it. You really can't knock it. And obviously not on the same level, but both of us being involved with a promotion, even at a different level, but with a high media sort of coverage that they've got, I really see the ins and outs of why it's hard certain decisions are made at a semi-pro level. So I can only imagine for Ben, and the same with the other promoters, what it's like for them at that level. He brought his career up from nothing, really, come out of uni and got into promoting. It's really it's a really inspiring story. I respect Eddie Hearn for what he's done. I think you'd be naive not to, because I think he took his dad's product and essentially his dad's product was big, but I think Eddie Hearn took it to the next level. So I'm not knocking him. Frank Warren has dominated boxing for God knows how long. Just look at his age and how long he's been involved. What I like about Ben is he took a product that had zero value to a multi-million-pound company. And I think that's why I want to see him do well. But you're right. I can agree with you here. Externally looking at this, 1 year broadcast deal doesn't fill people with confidence. And it might not fill his fighters with confidence. That might be the problem.
Agreed. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he makes any big signings to Boxer over the next year, because I don't think anyone's going to look at Boxer right now and go, they're the most enticing company to work with. But look, congratulations to Boxer at least, because it's a hard time for promoters right now. It's easy if you're Matchroom in Queensbury. Not easy, but it's easier. It's difficult if you're anyone else. So fair play. Oh, and Golden Boy doing all right, actually. I think that's Boxing this week. I don't think there's anything else to add. I think that's Boxing this week 60. Right. Paolo, is there anything else that you would like to say to the people at home?
Nate, before we do, Nathan,
I've just seen
prediction under 4.5 rounds, Itauma for KO, TKO.
Interesting. So do you give White any chance, Nathan? Before we go, let's do this. This is good. Because 4.5 rounds is not giving Dillian Whyte much opportunity to win in any capacity. I can see this happening.
Yeah.
Feels potentially early, but let's see. Do you know, it's the uppercut that keeps coming in my head that I'm just like, I think Itauma builds the angles and he just hits that button. But yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, as I said before we go, but yeah, like I said, drop your comments. Trying to match speed of Itauma, punch resistance is gone. Yeah, that's fair enough. I can understand why people might look at that. I can understand why people might look at it from that point of view. So, like I said, drop your predictions in the comments. Thank you for the comments. Obviously, Nathan as well for your input. We have got a competition running. I think that's good to mention.
Yes.
£50 Amazon voucher. All you've got to do is comment on the video, which someone like Nathan's done already. And just make sure you subscribe to the channel. You're automatically entered to the raffle. When we reach 500 subscribers, we will run a raffle, which we would do live. So there's no match fixing. We are not UEFA. We are not UEFA. This will be done properly. And there is no match fixing. And have your chance to win a £50 Amazon voucher just for subscribing and leaving a comment. Do you know what I mean? Easy stuff. Apart from that, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for joining us tonight. If you are watching this afterwards, thank you for watching. We appreciate it. We will be back again on Sunday for a post-review show with a special guest, as we have a segment coming out on the damage. So I can say it now, Connor. We have a special guest coming on, decorated amateur boxer who fought for Islington Boxing Club. Had his aspirations of obviously turning professional, and he moved into the semi-professional circuit for a bit, just to build a bit of a following, because boxing is a business now, and they do look at social media, which is mental, but that's where we're at. And he made the choice to retire from competing. He's taken up coaching, doing a number of things at the moment, working on some great projects. You'll probably see him in a lot of spaces soon on the professional level. He's doing some big things, to be honest. Prince is his name. And yeah, we've got him on Sunday for the post-review show about Moses Itauma and Dillian Whyte, where we will be talking about the result. That's going to be the next chat, Connor. and the card and how it went. And then we also talk a little bit about the sadder news that we brought up at the start and that effect of the head damage that it can cause on your career, which Prince has got stories that he'd like to share personal to him. So I think it's an interesting insight to have it from a boxer. That'll be at 10 a.m. on Sunday. And then a couple of other big things coming out as well, which I need to fill Connor in about after this pause. So play or pause?
Pause them. But
yeah. Connor's got everyone baffed where he is, by the way. He's just saying pause now. No one else because they don't say it down there. But yeah, we've got some big things coming soon. A couple of collaborations. Don't look surprised, Connor, with DFC. So a couple of collaborations with DFC, which I've been working on for the channel, which will see us collaborating and partnering up with their YouTube channel for a few short episodes leading up to DFC 9.
Okay.
So yeah, like I said, we've got loads of exciting things coming out, and obviously the weekly show every week. You know how consistent we are. Every week we're doing it. Every week we're doing this. Yeah, and we will be here every week. 60 episodes in. Colin still hasn't got my forfeit done from like 10 shows ago. I've got to drink a dirty drink, but I think he might save that one.
We're going to let the people decide. We're just growing the audience, and then we'll let them decide.
So I've got one. Connor's got one in the bank.
Yeah, it will happen.
But more importantly, thank you for joining, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Yes. Cool. See you next week. I'll see you Sunday, actually. Yeah. Oh well.